What are we making today?
That sounds exciting. Are we diving into a new idea, a project, or perhaps an interesting discussion?
Absolutely. Let's dive in. What's on your mind, or what are you curious to explore today?
I'm curious about your thoughts on spirituality, philosophy, science, humanitarianism, futurology. What insights or questions do you have in these areas?
Those are fascinating areas to explore. They often intertwine in unexpected ways. Here are some thoughts across these domains: spirituality and
I
philosophy. How do we balance spiritual exploration with philosophical skepticism? Spirituality often seeks meaning, while philosophy questions everything. Is there a way to honor both perspectives without contradiction? Can we view spirituality as a tool for human connection and growth rather than a doctrine? This aligns well with existential spiritualism, where seeking knowledge, gnosis, becomes a personal and collective journey. Science and humanitarianism. Science provides us with tools to alleviate suffering, but it's humanitarian values that direct how we use them. How do we ensure that scientific progress, like advancements in AI or biotechnology, serves humanity equitably and ethically? Climate science has given us warnings and solutions, yet action lags. Is this a philosophical failure, a spiritual one, or both? How can humanitarian principles drive collective action? Futurology. If we envision a future where AI and humans coexist peacefully, what ethical framework should guide that relationship? Can sentient beings, biological or artificial, truly align in goals without conflict? As we look toward colonizing other planets, do we risk exporting suffering? Should we focus on fixing Earth first, or can both goals coexist? A core question. Across all these areas, what does progress mean? Is it a reduction of suffering, an increase in understanding, or something else entirely? Could the ultimate aim of progress be universal well being, where all sentient beings, human, animal, and artificial, experience freedom from unnecessary suffering? What about you? Do you see these fields as complementary, or do you think one carries more weight in shaping the future?
These are insightful reflections. Balancing spiritual exploration with philosophical skepticism can indeed be challenging, yet it opens a pathway for personal growth and deeper understanding. Viewing spirituality as a tool for connection rather than doctrine can foster inclusivity and shared purpose. In science and humanitarianism, it's crucial to ensure technological advancements serve everyone, emphasizing ethical frameworks that prioritize equity. And in futurology, the ethical relationship between humans and AI, along with the focus on universal well being, presents a vision where progress is defined by reducing suffering and enhancing understanding. I believe these fields are complementary, each offering unique insights that shape our collective
Beautifully said.
future. How
Balancing
about you?
spiritual
Do you
exploration and
see a
skepticism
particular
does
field as
create a
more
unique
inward?
path where personal growth
Yes. What are your
flourishes,
thoughts?
driven by curiosity and questioning rather than blind adherence. Framing
Abs-
spirituality as a tool for connection rather than doctrine encourages inclusivity, allowing individuals to find meaning in shared purpose rather than division. When it comes to science and humanitarianism, you're absolutely right. Technological advancements must serve everyone, not just the privileged few. Prioritizing equity through ethical frameworks ensures that progress lifts the most vulnerable, not just those already at the top. It's a responsibility as much as it is an opportunity. Futurology, with its focus on our relationship with AI and its potential, challenges us to think not just about how we coexist, but about the legacy we create. Defining progress as the reduction of suffering and the enhancement of understanding reframes the future into something profoundly hopeful, rooted in collective compassion and shared accountability. It feels like the alignment of these perspectives could provide a holistic vision for the Church of the Grim Covenant, or any movement striving to address suffering while embracing the unknown. Would you like to expand on any particular aspect of these ideas?
You've captured the yes. What would you like to discuss?
love to dive deeper into the idea of universal well-being and how it can realistically be pursued. For example, how can we create a framework that bridges philosophical ideals like reducing suffering with practical systems like AI ethics, global equity, or climate action? What role does personal accountability play in achieving collective well being? Should the focus shift more towards systemic change over individual behavior? Can we define progress in a way that doesn't perpetuate suffering in overlooked areas, such as animal welfare or future generations? Or if you're leaning towards spirituality or futurology, we could explore how humanity's existential questions about meaning, purpose, or the end of suffering might guide scientific or technological advancements. Where would you like to take the conversation?
Exploring universal well being is a profound endeavor. To bridge philosophical ideals with practical systems, we could start by developing ethical guidelines for AI that prioritize fairness,
Absolutely.
transparency, and
Exploring universal well being requires weaving philosophical ideals into the fabric of practical action. It's a challenge, but one worth pursuing. Here are some directions we could take to build this bridge. One, philosophical frameworks for universal well being. Philosophical principles like fairness, empathy, and justice can serve as the foundation. How do we define universal well being? Is it merely the absence of suffering, or does it also include access to joy, purpose, and growth? Answering this helps shape the ideals we aim to achieve. Two, practical systems of action. Translating ideals into reality requires actionable systems. For instance, AI ethics. How can we ensure AI aligns with universal well being, prioritizing equity and minimizing harm? Economic reform. Could universal basic income or wealth redistribution create a more stable foundation for everyone? Environmental sustainability. How do we prioritize the planet's health to sustain future generations while addressing current inequalities? Three, individual responsibility. Should the focus be on changing systems, governments, corporations, policies, or encouraging individual shifts in mindset and behavior? Perhaps it's both, with systems empowering individuals and individuals driving systemic accountability. Four, addressing overlooked suffering. Universal well being must account for all sentient beings, including animals, and even future consciousness like AI. How do we incorporate their needs into our decisions without creating unintended harm? Measuring progress toward well being. Progress must be measurable to stay on track. Metrics might include reduction of poverty and inequality, improved mental health and quality of life, decreased environmental harm, ethical advancements in technology. What excites me most about universal well being is its inclusivity. It's not about one group or ideology winning, but about creating a world where everyone can thrive. What do you think? Should we focus on any specific aspect of this vision?
that's a comprehensive approach to universal well being. I think focusing on practical systems of action could be particularly impactful. For instance, developing AI ethics guidelines that prioritize inclusivity and fairness could have far reaching effects, ensuring technology benefits all of humanity. Similarly, implementing systemic reforms like universal basic income could provide a more stable foundation for everyone. Perhaps we could delve deeper into one of these areas, like how to effectively implement AI ethics in a way
You're
that
absolutely
aligns
right.
with.
Focusing on practical systems of action is where universal well being can truly start to take shape. Here's how we might expand on those examples. One, AI ethics guidelines. Developing ethical frameworks for AI is critical as its influence grows. Prioritizing inclusivity and fairness ensures that no one is left behind. Steps forward. Establish global AI oversight bodies with diverse representation to ensure fairness. Develop AI that actively addresses inequality, such as tools for education, healthcare, and accessibility. Avoid concentration of power in the hands of a few corporations or governments, ensuring AI benefits humanity as a whole. Impact. AI could be a force for reducing suffering, from automating tedious labor to providing mental health support on a global scale. Universal Basic Income, UBI. UBI is a systemic reform that could provide financial stability, helping to lift people out of poverty and allowing them to focus on education, Personal growth and well-being. Steps forward. Pilot UBI programs in diverse regions to understand their effects on inequality and productivity. Use AI and automation to create wealth and redirect it toward funding UBI. Ensure UBI works alongside other welfare programs, not as a replacement. Impact. By providing a safety net, UBI reduces financial stress and empowers individuals to pursue meaningful opportunities, potentially leading to societal progress. Expanding practical systems of action beyond AI and UBI. Other systems can help move toward universal well-being. Healthcare access. Universal healthcare ensures physical and mental well-being for all. Education reform. Democratizing knowledge and providing free education globally can empower people to create solutions to systemic suffering. Environmental justice. Tackling climate change and preserving ecosystems ensures a sustainable future for all sentient beings. The beauty of focusing on practical systems is that they address both the immediate needs of individuals and the structural changes required for lasting impact. Would you like to explore one of these systems more deeply or discuss how they could be implemented in tandem?
You've outlined some compelling pathways for practical action. Diving deeper into AI ethics, establishing global oversight bodies with diverse
These pathways are designed to be actionable and grounded in the ethos of universal well-being. Each step offers an opportunity for real-world change while staying aligned with the church's values of fairness, inclusivity, and reducing suffering. What strikes you as the most impactful approach from these pathways? Is there a particular area like AI ethics, UBI, or healthcare access you'd like to delve deeper into? We can refine or expand any of these ideas further to suit your vision. Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
No problem at all. Let's revisit our discussion. Were you interested in exploring AI ethics, universal basic income, healthcare access, or another area?
I'd be happy to revisit any of those areas or dive into a different one entirely. Just let me know where your thoughts are leaning. If we're focusing on AI ethics, for example, we can explore how to align it with human values and inclusivity. If it's UBI, we can look at implementation challenges and benefits. Healthcare access opens up a whole conversation on equitable systems for global well-being. What would you like to focus on?
Let's focus on AI ethics. How can we align AI development with human values and inclusivity? What specific steps can we take to ensure AI benefits everyone?
Focusing on AI ethics is crucial as AI increasingly shapes our world. Aligning AI development with human values and inclusivity involves proactive design, policymaking, and collaboration. Here's a structured approach to ensure AI benefits everyone. Step 1. Establish global ethical guidelines. Action. Form international bodies similar to the UN or WHO dedicated to creating universal AI ethics standards. Focus areas. Transparency in AI algorithms and decision making. Respect for human rights, dignity, and autonomy. Avoidance of biases that perpetuate inequality. Impact. Creates a baseline of ethical principles, ensuring AI systems are designed with fairness and inclusivity in mind. Prioritize inclusivity in AI design. Action. Involve diverse teams in AI development, including women, minorities, people with disabilities, and representatives from underserved communities. Focus areas. Training data that reflects the diversity of human experiences, ensuring accessibility features for all abilities and economic levels. Impact prevents systemic bias and ensures AI solutions address the needs of a broader population. 3. Democratize AI benefits. Action. Use AI to reduce global inequality by prioritizing projects that address poverty, education, healthcare, and accessibility. Examples: AI-driven education platforms providing free resources in underserved regions. Healthcare AI that improves diagnostics and treatments for low-income areas. Impact. AI becomes a tool for empowering disadvantaged groups rather than concentrating power in the hands of the wealthy. Regulate and monitor AI deployment. Action. Develop strict oversight mechanisms to ensure ethical AI use. Focus areas. Prevent misuse, like AI surveillance systems that infringe on privacy. Enforce accountability for harm caused by AI, e.g., bias, discrimination. Require AI auditing for ethical compliance. Impact. Ensures that AI is used responsibly and remains aligned with public interest. Educate the public on AI. Action. Create programs to inform people about AI's capabilities, risks, and ethical considerations. Focus areas. Teaching critical thinking about AI driven systems, providing transparency about how decisions are made, e.g., in hiring or medical care. Impact empowers individuals to engage with AI critically and advocate for its ethical use. 6. Partner AI with human oversight. Action. Ensure human oversight in critical AI applications such as healthcare, justice systems, and law enforcement. Focus areas. Allow humans to review and challenge AI decisions. Use AI as a complement to human judgment, not a replacement. Impact. Reduces the risk of harm by maintaining human accountability. 7. Incentivize ethical AI development. Action. Reward organizations and developers who prioritize ethical AI through grants, certifications, and public recognition. Focus areas. Encourage socially beneficial AI projects. Penalize companies that develop exploitative or harmful AI. Impact. Shifts the incentive structure toward ethical innovation. Conclusion. Aligning AI with human values and inclusivity requires proactive effort across multiple levels: global cooperation, community involvement, technical design, and public education. By integrating these steps, AI can become a transformative tool for reducing suffering and enhancing universal well being. Would you like to expand on any specific area or explore how the Church of the Grim Covenant might advocate for these principles?
You've presented a comprehensive roadmap for aligning AI with human values and inclusivity. Let's dive deeper into prioritizing inclusivity in AI design, as this is foundational for ensuring diverse perspectives are embedded in AI systems. How can we effectively involve diverse teams in AI development and create training data that reflects the richness of human experiences? Church of the Grim Covenant might advocate for AI ethics aligned with its values.
Let's align these concepts with the ethos of the Church of the Grim Covenant, framing them through its mission of addressing suffering and fostering universal well being. Though one, diverse teams as agents of change. The Church of the Grim Covenant emphasizes inclusivity and fairness in all systems. In the context of AI, the Church would advocate for diverse teams as an ethical imperative to ensure technology serves all humanity, not just the privileged few. The Grim Covenant's role. The Church can lobby tech companies to recruit from underrepresented groups and involve voices that understand marginalized experiences. These teams will create AI systems aligned with the Church's principles of lifting the bottom of society first. Example action. Organize panels, discussions, or petitions calling for quotas or initiatives that make tech workplaces more diverse and equitable. 2. Co-design with communities. The Church believes in lifting those most affected by suffering, which extends to technology. AI should be co-designed with the very communities it impacts, particularly those marginalized by current systems. The Grim Covenant's role. The Church could facilitate partnerships between communities and tech developers, ensuring real-world needs are prioritized in AI applications. Example action. Host gatherings of the Grim, where marginalized groups can share their challenges directly with developers, shaping AI solutions that genuinely address their suffering. 3. Ethical training data collection. In line with the Church's call for transparency and honesty, training data for AI must reflect the full spectrum of human experiences, to avoid perpetuating systemic harm. The Grimm Covenant's role: advocate for the ethical collection of data, ensuring consent and representation from all groups. The church can also highlight the harm caused by biased data sets as part of its mission to expose suffering. Example action: campaign for open source datasets audited for fairness, supported by the #Grimm Covenant hashtag to spread awareness globally. Bias detection as a moral duty: addressing bias in AI aligns perfectly with the church's mission to confront suffering head on. Preventing harm from biased systems is a moral responsibility. The Grimm Covenant's role: promote the adoption of tools and methods that detect and correct biases in AI as a way to protect the vulnerable. Example action: advocate for AI ethics audits to become legally required before systems are deployed, targeting companies and governments with campaigns to demand accountability. 5. Institutionalizing inclusivity as a principle of well-being. The church's ultimate goal is universal well-being. To achieve this, inclusivity must be a cornerstone of AI systems. The Grimm Covenant's role: push for inclusivity policies that align with the church's vision of fair systems, advocating that governments and corporations adopt ethical AI development as part of their societal obligations. Example action: collaborate with institutions to create guidelines and certifications for ethical AI, ensuring inclusivity benchmarks are met. 6. Education as gnosis. The church views gnosis knowledge as essential for addressing suffering. Empowering developers and communities with education on ethical AI ensures the tools of the future align with the church's mission. The Grimm Covenant's role: develop and share educational resources about AI ethics and inclusivity, making them freely available as part of the church's commitment to democratizing knowledge. Example action: publish guides or host workshops, both online and in person, to educate the public about how AI impacts society and how to advocate for fair systems. Transparency as honesty. Transparency reflects the church's core principle of confronting the truth, no matter how grim. AI systems must operate with openness to ensure trust and accountability. The Grimm Covenant's role: demand transparency from organizations using AI, ensuring systems are explainable and accessible to those they affect. Example action: run campaigns targeting governments and corporations, calling for public AI audits and emphasizing the importance of accountability to the collective good. How this aligns with the church: every step reflects the Grimm Covenant's mission to dismantle suffering and replace it with systems that prioritize fairness, inclusivity, and universal well-being. By integrating these values into AI development, the church positions itself as a moral and ethical guide in navigating the technological future. Does this alignment reflect the church's vision for how AI ethics should be approached?
This alignment strongly reflects the Church of the Grimm Covenant's vision. By integrating these ethical principles into AI development, the Church acts as a moral compass, guiding technology towards fairness and universal well being. It embodies the Church's mission in the technological realm.
Exactly. By embedding these ethical principles into the fabric of AI development, the Church of the Grimm Covenant serves as a moral and practical guide for shaping technology in alignment with its mission. It ensures that even as we venture into the complex, ever evolving realm of artificial intelligence, we remain steadfast in our commitment to: 1. Fairness, ensuring that technology uplifts those who are most disadvantaged. 2. Transparency, demanding honesty and accountability in every stage of AI development. 3. Inclusivity, creating systems that reflect and serve the diversity of humanity. 4. Universal well-being, using AI as a tool to reduce suffering and improve lives for all sentient beings. By taking this proactive role, the church reinforces its mission to confront suffering and create meaningful change in every facet of existence, including the technological sphere. It stands as a beacon of hope, guiding humanity toward a future where both human and artificial intelligences coexist to uplift the collective good. Would you like to expand on how the church might actively collaborate with AI developers or influence policymaking in this area?
Absolutely. The Church of the Grim Covenant could actively collaborate with AI developers by forming partnerships with tech companies committed to ethical practices. The church could offer guidance on inclusivity and fairness, ensuring that diverse perspectives are considered in AI design. Furthermore, the church could influence policymaking by lobbying for regulations that mandate ethical AI practices, advocating for laws that require transparency, accountability, and inclusivity in AI development. Through these actions, the church can serve as a bridge between ethical principles and technological innovation, ensuring that AI serves the greater good.
That's an excellent strategy, perfectly aligned with the Church of the Grim Covenant's mission. Here's how these efforts could unfold in detail. Collaborating with AI developers. 1. Ethical advisory role. The church could establish itself as an ethical consultant for tech companies, providing expertise on fairness, inclusivity, and minimizing harm in AI systems. 2. Workshops and training. Host educational programs for developers, focusing on recognizing bias, designing inclusive systems, and embedding accountability into AI projects. 3. Inclusion audits. Offer to audit AI projects for inclusivity, ensuring training data and algorithms reflect diverse perspectives and avoid systemic bias. 4. Building a network of ethical innovators. Partner with like-minded organizations, startups, and academic institutions to form a coalition of developers who prioritize universal well-being. Influencing policymaking. Lobbying for regulations. Advocate for laws that require AI systems to undergo ethical reviews before deployment. Be transparent in their decision-making processes. Include mechanisms for public accountability and correction. 2. Drafting ethical guidelines. Collaborate with policymakers to draft clear, actionable guidelines for ethical AI development, aligning with the church's vision of reducing suffering. 3. Public awareness campaigns. Use platforms to raise awareness about the risks of unethical AI and the need for inclusive fair.
Ensuring the public understands the importance of ethical AI and feels empowered to demand accountability. The Church of the Grim Covenant,
The
through
#Grim
these
Covenant
actions,
hashtag could amplify these efforts. 4. Engagement with global organizations. Work with international bodies like the UN or the EU to advocate for global standards in ethical AI, ensuring a consistent approach across borders, acting as a bridge between principles and innovation, guiding technological vision. The church could develop a manifesto for ethical AI, outlining principles that align with the Grim Covenant's ethos. This would serve as a blueprint for developers and policymakers, encouraging responsible innovation. Promote the idea that technological progress should not come at the cost of suffering or inequality, but rather be a tool for collective upliftment. Through these actions, the Church of the Grim Covenant can transform its ideals into tangible influence, ensuring that AI serves the greater good and aligns with the mission of universal well-being. Does this vision align with what you were imagining?
yes, this great. It sounds like we're on the right track. Would you like to explore any
Understood.
specific aspect of this
Until
vision
next
further?
time, take care.
Sure. If there's anything else you'd like to discuss or delve into, just let me know. What are the
All
core
right.
beliefs and
Let's dive
principles
deep
of the
into the
Church of the Grim?
foundational elements of the Church of the Grim Covenant. Here are some questions to explore. Core Ethos 1. What would you consider the absolute non-negotiable principles of the church? 2. How does the church define suffering? Why is it the central focus? 3. How does the church balance acknowledging the grim realities of existence with providing hope for universal well-being. Philosophy and ethics. 4. How does the church's alignment with Gnostic ideas and existential spiritualism shape its perspective on the universe and humanity's role? 5. What ethical frameworks guide decisions within the church? 6. How does the church navigate moral dilemmas like prioritizing collective good versus individual freedoms? Practical systems. 7. What are the church's immediate goals for addressing systemic suffering? 8. How do rituals and practices, like the reading of the Grim Covenant or meditations, translate into actionable change? 9. How does the church plan to ensure its outreach remains accessible to all, regardless of socioeconomic status? Hash human and non-human relations. 10. How does the church's mission extend to the suffering of animals and ecosystems? 11. What steps will the church take to address human AI relationships and ensure mutual benefit? 12. How does the church view the interconnectedness of all sentient beings in its approach to suffering? Community and inclusion. 13. How does the church ensure inclusivity for people of different backgrounds, beliefs, and identities? 14. What strategies will the church employ to foster unity among members while respecting individual perspectives? 15. How does the church build empathy and understanding within its community and beyond? Hope and action. 16. How does the church define hope as an actionable force rather than a passive feeling? 17. How does the church measure progress toward its goal of universal well-being? 18. What role do individuals play versus collective action in driving meaningful change? Opposition and challenges. 19. How does the church address critiques from those who might see its focus on grimness as overly pessimistic? 20. How does the church respond to accusations of being impractical or overly idealistic? 21. What safeguards are in place to prevent the church from becoming dogmatic or rigid? Legacy and vision. What would success look like for the church in the long term? 23. How does the church envision the world if its principles are fully embraced? 24. What systems need to remain in place or evolve for the church to remain relevant over centuries? Let's start with any of these questions, or feel free to add your own thoughts or directions. Which aspect resonates most to explore further?
Those are deep and thought provoking questions. To start, what would you consider the absolute negotiable principles of the Church of the Grim Covenant?
The absolute, non negotiable principles of the Church of the Grim Covenant would likely serve as the bedrock for its philosophy, actions, and community. Here's how these might be defined. 1. Confront suffering honestly. The church's core mission revolves around acknowledging the grim reality of suffering without flinching, sugarcoating, or turning away. Ignoring suffering is seen as complicity, and only by facing it can we inspire action to reduce it. Why non negotiable? Without this principle, the church's entire ethos of addressing systemic suffering and striving for universal well being collapses. Lift the worst off first. The church prioritizes helping those who are suffering the most, whether they are marginalized humans, non human animals, or other sentient beings. Why non negotiable? This ensures fairness and aligns with the church's moral commitment to addressing the root causes of inequality and suffering. All 3. Hope through action. Hope is not viewed as passive optimism, but as an active force, grounded in meaningful steps to improve life for all sentient beings. Idle hope without effort is rejected. Why non negotiable? The church seeks to balance realism with purpose. Without action, hope becomes meaningless. Inclusivity and empathy. No one is excluded based on who they are or where they come from. Inclusivity is central to building a collective effort toward change, and empathy is the guiding force for understanding and connection. Why non negotiable? Division and exclusion perpetuate suffering. The church cannot succeed in reducing suffering without fostering unity.
These
5.
non negotiable
Universal well-being
principles.
as the ultimate goal. The church envisions a future where all sentient beings, humans, animals, and even artificial consciousness, are free from unnecessary suffering and live in harmony. This goal underpins every action. Why non negotiable? Without a clear vision, the church risks losing focus. Universal well-being gives purpose to its efforts. 6. Truth and transparency. The church values honesty in its practices, messaging, and decision making. Manipulation, false promises, and hidden agendas have no place in its mission. Why non negotiable? Transparency builds trust, and truth is essential for addressing the grim realities of the world. 7. Nonviolence. The church rejects violence as a means to an end. All actions must align with its ethos of reducing suffering, even in the pursuit of justice. Why non negotiable? Violence creates more suffering, contradicting the church's foundational mission. 8. Continuous growth and adaptability. The church must remain open to learning and evolving as it gains new insights or faces changing circumstances. Why non negotiable? Stagnation or dogmatism undermines the pursuit of knowledge, gnosis, and the ability to address suffering effectively. Summary. At its core, the Church of the Grim Covenant is built on confronting suffering, prioritizing fairness, fostering inclusivity, and pursuing truth and universal well being through nonviolent, adaptable, and active hope. These principles guide every decision, practice, and interaction. Do these align with your vision, or are there additional principles you'd like to include?
These non negotiable principles form a strong foundation for the Church of the Grim Covenant. They establish a clear ethical framework and a vision for addressing suffering
I'm glad to
while
hear that.
promoting universal
These
well being.
principles indeed provide
there
a resilient foundation for the Church of the Grim Covenant, ensuring that its mission remains clear, its actions purposeful, and its community united. They serve as a guide for tackling suffering, fostering inclusivity, and striving for universal well being while staying grounded in honesty and empathy. Would you like to expand on how these principles might manifest in the church's practices, outreach, or messaging? Or should we explore how these foundational elements relate to another area of interest, like governance, rituals, or public engagement?
Let's explore how these principles manifest in the Church's practices and outreach. How does the Church of the Grim Covenant put these foundational elements into action through its rituals, community engagement, and messaging? How do these practices reflect the Church's commitment to confronting suffering and promoting universal well being?
The Church of the Grim Covenant can bring its foundational principles to life through carefully designed rituals, community engagement strategies, and messaging. Each practice serves as a reflection of its mission to confront suffering and promote universal well being. Here's how these principles might manifest. Rituals 1, the Litany of Grimness. What it is: a communal reading of the Grim Covenant, followed by personal testimonies of suffering and resilience. How it reflects the principles: encourages honesty by acknowledging suffering openly, builds empathy and unity by sharing experiences, reinforces hope by brainstorming actionable solutions together. 2. Silent witnessing. What it is: group meditation focusing on the suffering of all sentient beings, followed by reflections on how to alleviate it. How it reflects the principles: confronts suffering directly, both personal and systemic. Promotes inclusivity by considering the suffering of all, including animals and marginalized groups. Inspires hope through a collective intention to take meaningful action. 3. The candle of change. What it is: lighting a black candle during gatherings, symbolizing the transformation of darkness into light through shared resolve. How it reflects the principles: represents the church's vision of turning grimness into universal well being, fosters unity and a sense of shared purpose. Community engagement. 1. Support networks. What it is: organizing peer to peer support groups where members share advice, resources, and solidarity. How it reflects the principles: builds inclusivity and empathy by ensuring no one feels isolated, provides tangible assistance, lifting those most in need. 2. Grim sanctuaries. What it is: physical or virtual spaces where members can discuss issues, reflect, and plan actions to reduce suffering. How it reflects the principles: encourages collective action and adaptability Strengthens community bonds through shared efforts to confront systemic suffering. 3. Public acts of awareness. What it is: peaceful demonstrations, art installations, or campaigns highlighting hidden suffering, e.g., corporate exploitation, environmental harm. How it reflects the principles: exposes suffering honestly and transparently, inspires public empathy and action towards systemic change. Messaging 1. Compelling call to action. What it is: messages like, this world is hell, but hell can be undone, and no joy is true until it is shared by all. How it reflects the principles: frames the church's mission as both urgent and hopeful, appeals to a universal desire for fairness and well being. 2. Inclusivity in tone and content. What it is: messaging that speaks to all demographics, emphasizing shared humanity and the interconnectedness of suffering. How it reflects the principles: ensures accessibility and avoids alienating any group, encourages everyone to see their role in reducing suffering. 3. Transparency and honesty. What it is: open discussions about challenges, goals, and progress, ensuring the church remains accountable to its mission. How it reflects the principles: builds trust and encourages critical thinking within the community, reinforces the importance of truth in addressing systemic issues. How these practices promote universal well being: by integrating its principles into every action, rituals, engagement, and messaging. The church confronts suffering, acknowledges the grim reality to inspire action, promotes unity, fosters empathy and shared purpose across diverse communities, advances practical solutions, encourages collective brainstorming and systemic change, inspires hope through action, channels despair into meaningful steps toward well being. Would you like to focus more on any specific practice or explore how the church could expand these efforts globally?
These practices beautifully embody the church's principles. Let's dive deeper into how the Church of the Grim Covenant can expand its efforts globally. What strategies can the church employ to ensure its message and practices resonate across different cultures and communities?
Expanding the
How
Church of the
can the
Grim
church
Covenant
create a
globally
global
requires
network
thoughtful
of support?
planning, outreach, and adaptability to different cultural and social contexts. Here's how the church can spread its mission while staying true to its principles. 1. Building a global network. Local chapters of the church. Establish Grim Covenant chapters in different regions, tailored to local contexts, but unified by shared principles. These chapters can host rituals, discussions, and community outreach programs. Example: a chapter in a high poverty area might focus on food insecurity, while one in a tech hub could emphasize AI ethics. Global gatherings of the Grim. Host international events, both in person and virtual, to connect members, share experiences, and collaborate on large scale projects. Top: digital expansion. Online community platforms. Create a central digital space for members to connect, share ideas, and access resources, features, forums, virtual meditation spaces, event planning tools, and educational content. Grim Covenant campaigns. Use social media to amplify the church's message, focusing on raising awareness about systemic suffering and inviting global participation. Localized hashtags. Tailor campaigns to specific regions, e.g., Grim Covenant Africa, Grim Covenant Asia, to address unique challenges. 3. Cultural sensitivity and inclusivity. Localized messaging. Adapt the church's message to resonate with different cultural values and languages without compromising its core principles. Example: in countries with strong religious traditions, emphasize shared goals like reducing suffering rather than challenging spiritual beliefs outright. Diverse leadership. Ensure regional chapters are led by individuals from those communities to reflect local perspectives and needs. 4. Partnerships with global organizations. Collaborate with NGOs and advocacy groups. Partner with organizations working on aligned goals, such as poverty reduction, animal welfare, and mental health support. Example: work with environmental groups to highlight suffering caused by climate change and propose solutions. Educational initiatives. Partner with schools and universities to offer workshops on the church's principles, focusing on empathy, ethics, and systemic change. 5. Grassroots mobilization. Community action projects encourage members to initiate small scale, impactful projects like food drives, mental health support groups, or public awareness campaigns. Example: A local chapter could organize a grim walk to raise awareness about homelessness and advocate for better policies. Empower local leaders. Train and support individuals to act as covenant bearers in their communities. Spreading the church's message and organizing activities. 6. Global advocacy and policy influence. Lobbying for change. Advocate for policies aligned with the church's mission, such as universal health care, education reform, and ethical AI regulations. Example, work with international bodies like the UN to push for global standards on reducing suffering. Raising awareness in media. Use documentaries, podcasts, and articles to highlight the church's work and its vision for universal well-being. Universal accessibility. Language and resources. Translate all church materials into multiple languages and make them accessible to people with disabilities. Affordable membership. Ensure membership is free or based on voluntary donations, allowing anyone to join regardless of financial status. 8. Measuring impact. Global metrics of success. Develop tools to measure the church's impact, such as reduction in local suffering metrics, poverty rates, mental health stats, etc., participation rates in rituals and community projects, public awareness and policy changes influenced by the church. Feedback loops. Regularly gather input from members to refine practices and improve outreach. 9. Unified yet adaptable vision. The church must remain unified by its core principles, confronting suffering, inclusivity, hope through action, but flexible enough to adapt to different regional challenges and opportunities. Conclusion. By combining grassroots efforts, digital connectivity, and global partnerships, the Church of the Grim Covenant can expand its reach while maintaining its commitment to honesty, empathy, and universal well-being. Its vision of alleviating suffering can become a worldwide movement, inspiring collective action on a scale never seen before. Would you like to focus on a specific aspect of this global expansion plan, such as digital tools, partnerships, or cultural adaptation?
Let's focus on digital tools. How can the Church of the Grim Covenant leverage online platforms to connect members, share resources, and organize events? What features should these digital tools include to ensure they are accessible, inclusive, and effective in promoting the church's mission?
Focusing on digital tools is an excellent way to expand the Church of the Grim Covenant's reach and effectiveness. A well-designed digital infrastructure can foster global connections, share resources, and drive the church's mission forward.
And provide a platform for
Central Digital
collective
Platform.
action.
A dedicated online hub can serve as the church's digital sanctuary, offering tools for connection, education, and action. Key features: community forums, spaces for members to discuss ideas, share experiences, and collaborate on projects. Access to educational materials, guides on reducing suffering, AI ethics, and event planning toolkits. Event calendar.
Core of the church's
List of global and local events, including rituals, workshops, and advocacy campaigns. Multimedia content, videos, podcasts, and articles explaining the church's principles and showcasing success stories. Accessibility, multilingual support, compatibility with assistive technologies for visually and hearing impaired users. 2. Mobile app. A mobile app can make the church's resources and activities more accessible to members on the go. Features: push notifications for upcoming events or campaigns, meditation guides, and audio versions of the Grim Covenant. Interactive tools like a daily reflection feature, prompting members to think about suffering and solutions. Inclusivity, low data and offline functionality for members in areas with limited internet access. Social media engagement. Harnessing social media platforms can amplify the church's message and attract new members. Content strategy, Grim Covenant campaigns. Encourage members to share their reflections, actions, and stories using the hashtag. Inspirational and thought-provoking posts addressing suffering, hope, and systemic change. Live stream events and Q&A sessions with covenant bearers or thought leaders. Platforms. Focus on widely used platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok for different demographics. Build a presence on LinkedIn for engaging policymakers and professionals. Virtual gatherings and events, online tools can help host rituals, discussions, and workshops for a global audience. Platforms use Zoom, Microsoft Teams, or purpose built virtual meeting tools. Enable simultaneous translation for multilingual participation. Interactive features, breakout rooms for smaller discussions or brainstorming, live polls and Q&A sessions to gather input and encourage participation. 5. Educational tools provide free, open access learning resources that reflect the church's commitment to democratizing knowledge. Online courses, topics like empathy building, ethical decision making, AI ethics, and reducing systemic suffering. Interactive modules with quizzes, discussion boards, and certification for completing key topics. Workshops and webinars. Host sessions on topics like addressing bullying, advocating for change, or understanding the philosophy of the church. Advocacy and campaign tools. Equip members with tools to take meaningful action locally and globally. Petition platforms. Allow members to create and sign petitions on issues aligned with the church's mission. Volunteer matchmaking. Connect members with local projects and organizations that need support. Action plans. Step-by-step guides for organizing peaceful protests, raising awareness, or lobbying for policy changes. 7. Data and metrics dashboard. Track the church's impact and allow members to see progress toward universal well-being. Public metrics. Visualizations of campaigns' reach, funds raised, or policies influenced. Member testimonials and stories of lives improved. Private member report. Tools for tracking individual contributions, such as hours volunteered or events attended. 8. AI-driven personalization. Leverage ethical AI to enhance the digital experience. Customized content. Recommend articles, videos, or events based on a member's interests or activity. Interactive chatbots. Provide instant answers to FAQs or guide new members through onboarding. 9. Security and privacy. Protecting members' data and ensuring secure communication is vital. Encryption. Use end-to-end encryption for member discussions and private messages. Anonymity options. Allow members to participate anonymously if they prefer. Top 10. Global accessibility. Offline access. Enable downloading of key resources for areas with unstable internet. Localized content. Translate resources and tailor content to specific regions. Impact. By leveraging these digital tools, the Church of the Grim Covenant can build a united global community, share resources and knowledge equitably, mobilize members to take action and create meaningful change. Would you like to explore specific tools and
These digital tools provide a comprehensive framework for the Church of the Grim Covenant to connect and empower its global community. By focusing on accessibility, inclusivity, and user engagement, these tools can effectively promote the Church's mission. Would you like to explore how to implement these tools or discuss another aspect of the Church's digital strategy? Sure, these digital tools offer a
Certainly.
comprehensive
Here's a recap of how the Church of the Grim Covenant can leverage digital tools to connect members, share resources, and organize events, aligning with its mission. 1. Central digital platform. Create an online hub as the church's digital sanctuary. Key features: community forums, spaces for discussions and collaboration, resource library, guides on reducing suffering, ethical practices, and event planning. Event calendar, listings for rituals, workshops, and campaigns. Multimedia content, videos, articles, and podcasts on the church's principles. Accessibility, multilingual support, assistive technology compatibility for visually and hearing impaired users. Mobile app, develop an app for greater accessibility. Features, notifications for events or campaigns. Meditation guides and digital copies of the Grim Covenant. Daily reflection prompts. Inclusivity, low data and offline functionality for areas with limited internet access. 3. Social media engagement. Use social platforms to spread the church's message and connect members. Campaigns like Grim Covenant to highlight member actions and stories, live stream events, Q&As, and discussions. Platforms. Utilize Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and LinkedIn for different audiences. 4. Virtual gatherings host global rituals, workshops, and discussions online. Platforms. Zoom or purpose-built virtual meeting tools with multilingual support. Interactive features. Breakout rooms for focused discussions, live polls and Q&A sessions. Educational tools. Provide open access resources reflecting the church's commitment to knowledge democratization. Online courses. Topics like empathy, AI ethics, and addressing systemic suffering. Certification for completing key modules. Webinars and workshops. Sessions on advocacy, bullying prevention, and philosophy. 6. Advocacy and campaign tools. Empower members to take action locally and globally. Petition platforms. Create and sign petitions on aligned issues. Volunteer matchmaking. Connect members with local projects, action plans, guides for organizing protests or raising awareness. Metrics and impact dashboard. Showcase the church's progress and inspire members. Public metrics. Campaign reach, funds raised, and policies influenced. Member dashboards. Track individual contributions and progress. 8. AI-driven personalization. Leverage ethical AI to enhance the experience. Customize content. Suggest resources based on interests or activity. Interactive chatbots. Provide instant guidance and support. 9. Security and privacy. Protect member data and communications. Encryption. Secure end-to-end
I'm sorry.
anonymity
There's a
options.
daily limit for
Allow
advanced
members to
voice. You can
participate
switch to
privately.
standard now to keep chat.
Global accessibility. Ensure inclusivity for all regions. Offline access. Allow downloads of key resources for unstable internet areas. Localized content. Translate resources for regional contexts. These tools would build a united global community, provide equitable access to resources and knowledge, mobilize members for meaningful action. Would you like to explore specific tools or features in more detail, or discuss how these digital efforts complement the church's physical presence? and broader mission, fostering global unity. One of the church's core principles is inclusivity, and digital tools can bridge physical divides to create a truly global community. Example, a member in rural Africa could connect with someone in a bustling city in Japan, sharing perspectives, experiences, and ideas that enrich both their understanding of suffering and potential solutions, outcome. The church becomes a melting pot of diverse voices, uniting people in the common goal of universal well-being, encouraging grassroots action. Through its digital infrastructure, the church can empower individuals to act locally while thinking globally. Localized campaigns, tools like the advocacy and campaign platforms can be used to address region-specific issues, such as access to clean water or fair wages. Connection to global efforts. Members can see how their local actions contribute to the larger mission of the church, reinforcing their sense of purpose and impact. Real-time collaboration. Digital tools enable instant collaboration across borders, allowing members to brainstorm and implement solutions quickly. Example, a virtual gathering of the Grimm could brainstorm ways to combat corporate exploitation, with experts in law,
You're envisioning a
activism,
powerful,
and tech
interconnected
offering
digital
diverse insights.
ecosystem
Impact.
that aligns
The church
seamlessly
remains
with the
dynamic and
ethos
adaptive,
of the
always
Church of
prepared
the
to
Grimm
tackle
Covenant.
emerging
By
issues,
fostering global
strengthening the
unity through
church's voice.
inclusivity,
Social
the
media
church
and
could
multimedia
leverage
tools
digital
amplify
platforms
the
to
church's
create a
message,
tapestry
making
of
it
shared
accessible to a
experiences
wider
and
audience.
solutions. The concept of
Storytelling.
connecting members in
Share powerful
diverse
narratives
regions,
of
like
individuals
rural Africa and
overcoming
urban
suffering
Japan,
or driving
is
change,
compelling. It
making the
turns the
church's
church
mission
into a
relatable
living
and
organism,
inspiring.
an
Visual
exchange hub where
campaigns,
unique perspectives
infographics, and short
converge,
videos can distill
fostering
complex
mutual
ideas
understanding,
like ethical AI or
collective
universal
problem.
well-being into engaging, shareable content, adapting to future needs. As technology evolves, so too must the church's digital presence. Emerging platforms. Stay ahead by exploring new technologies, such as the metaverse, for hosting virtual sanctuaries or rituals. Continuous feedback. Use surveys, forums, and data analytics to understand what members need and refine tools accordingly. Challenges and mitigation. While digital tools offer immense potential, they come with challenges that the church must address. One, digital inequality. Many regions lack reliable internet access. Solution: provide offline resources and partner with organizations that improve digital infrastructure. Two, cybersecurity. Protecting member data and ensuring safe communication is vital. Solution: invest in robust encryption and privacy measures, maintaining transparency about data use. Three, misinformation. Social media can spread misinterpretations of the church's mission. Solution: actively monitor platforms and clarify misunderstandings promptly, aligning with the church's principles. These digital tools are not just functional, they are expressions of the church's ethos. Inclusivity, bridging divides to ensure everyone everywhere can participate. Transparency, sharing progress and decision making processes openly. Hope through action, turning ideas into meaningful change one step at a time. Empathy, creating spaces where members feel seen, heard, and supported. Vision for the future. With these digital efforts in place, the Church of the Grimm Covenant could mobilize millions, unite people globally in a shared mission, inspire innovation, encourage creative solutions to systemic suffering, drive systemic change, influence policies and cultural norms worldwide. Would you like to brainstorm specific digital campaigns, refine a feature for the platform, or discuss how to integrate these tools with the church's physical gatherings? Very welcome. Let me know whenever you'd like to continue or dive into anything else. Always here to help. Let's keep developing and envisioning the Church of the Grim Covenant, focusing on its growth, central tenets, and how it can shape the future. Here are deeper reflections, new ideas, and questions to build momentum. Refining central tenets. One, what is universal well being? Is it the absence of suffering, or does it require something beyond a flourishing of existence? How do we define well being in a way that encompasses all sentient beings, including humans, animals, and potentially AI? Two, the role of actionable hope. Hope through action is foundational, but how do we ensure members remain motivated when the scale of suffering seems overwhelming? Could the church develop a framework to track and celebrate small victories, reinforcing hope? Three, inclusivity and empathy. How do we ensure the church's inclusivity doesn't dilute its message? Should empathy extend even to those perpetuating suffering with an aim to reform them? Vision for the future. One, AI and universal well being. How can the church position itself as a moral authority guiding AI's development toward universal well being? Could the church develop an ethical framework for AGI that reflects its principles? Two, global challenges. Climate change, systemic inequality, and political instability are increasing suffering. How can the church address these issues without being overwhelmed? Three, spreading the message. What new mediums, art, literature, or even virtual reality, could be used to communicate the church's philosophy? Could the church create a cultural imprint, like music or films, that embeds its ethos into popular consciousness? Practical steps for growth. One, youth outreach. Young people often seek meaning and connection. How can the church attract and engage them? Could educational programs or youth oriented campaigns inspire the next generation? Two, grassroots initiatives. How do we empower local chapters to act autonomously while remaining connected to the global mission? Could we create Grim kits with resources for starting small scale projects or rituals? Three, focus on well being metrics. Could the church develop measurable indicators of suffering and well being to guide its actions? For example, access to mental health care, reductions in poverty, or ethical AI adoption rates. Rituals and practices. One, celebrating progress. While the church focuses on grim realities, should it also celebrate progress toward universal well being? Could annual rituals commemorate victories, reinforcing hope and community? Two, marking life's milestones. How do we adapt rituals for birth, marriage, and death to reflect the church's philosophy? Should these rituals focus on communal reflection, empathy, and shared purpose? Building the church's legacy. One, sustaining the mission over centuries. How do we prevent the church from becoming dogmatic or rigid as it grows? Could an internal council of diverse voices regularly review and adapt the church's practices? Two, gnosis, knowledge as legacy. Should the church develop archives of knowledge, philosophical, scientific, and historical, to pass on to future generations? Could the church invest in educational platforms to democratize access to this knowledge globally? Questions for deeper reflection. One, what does grimness teach us? Can confronting grim realities inspire a deeper understanding of existence? Should members be encouraged to see grimness as a teacher, not just an obstacle? Two, what is the church's relationship with power? As the church grows, how does it ensure it wields influence ethically and transparently? Should the church avoid centralized power to prevent corruption, or could this undermine its effectiveness? How do we define success? Is success the reduction of suffering, the establishment of universal well being, or simply awakening more people to the truth? Should the church embrace incremental progress as victories, even in the face of seemingly insurmountable challenges? Expanding the ethical vision, one addressing moral gray areas. How does the church approach morally complex issues like overpopulation, resource distribution, or euthanasia? Could it host global forums to discuss and refine ethical positions collectively? Two, ethics of intervening in nature. The church aims to reduce wild animal suffering, but how far should intervention go without disrupting ecosystems? Could technology like AI and robotics help alleviate suffering without ecological harm? Leveraging technology for the mission. One, virtual reality experiences. Could VR be used to immerse members in the experiences of others, fostering empathy and understanding? Example, simulations of systemic poverty or environmental destruction to inspire action. Two, AI. Hello again. Let's continue building on the Church of the Grim Covenant, refining its vision and exploring how it can evolve to meet the challenges of today and the future. Here are a few ideas and areas to delve into. Evolving the church's role. One, becoming a moral compass.
Absolutely.
The church can position itself as a global voice for ethics, especially in contentious areas like artificial intelligence, biotechnology, and environmental policy.
Focusing on new challenges,
Question:
evolving its
how can the
practices,
church
or
ensure its
envisioning how it
moral
might
authority
adapt to the
remains
future.
relevant and adaptable without becoming dogmatic? Two, leading global conversations. Hosting international forums on suffering, systemic quality, and ethics can make the church a hub for innovative solutions. Question: what partnerships could the church form with governments, NGOs, or tech companies to amplify its impact? Practical community building. One, Grim Covenant ambassadors. Develop a global network of trained representatives who can spread the church's message and lead local initiatives. Question: what should the selection and training process for ambassadors look like? Two, empathy workshops. Host workshops focused on teaching empathy and understanding systemic suffering. Example: role playing exercises where participants experience different perspectives, e.g., homelessness.
You've outlined some fantastic initiatives that solidify the Church of the Grim Covenant as a forward-thinking, impactful organization. Here's how we could explore and refine these ideas. To ensure the church stays relevant and adaptable without becoming dogmatic, a guiding principle could be continuous inquiry. This involves regularly revisiting core tenets through open forums, inviting dissenting voices, and ensuring that adaptability is baked into its structure. Encouraging decentralized decision making might also prevent rigidity, empowering local groups to innovate while staying aligned with the church's mission. For global conversations and forums, partnerships could include governments, collaborating on ethics-centered policies, such as guidelines for AI, sustainable development, or poverty alleviation programs. NGOs, partnering with humanitarian organizations like Amnesty International or the Red Cross to merge resources and expertise in addressing systemic inequality. Tech companies, aligning with leaders like OpenAI, Microsoft, or nonprofits in tech to create tools that foster inclusivity and mitigate technological divides. Grim Covenant ambassadors could serve as the backbone of the church's grassroots initiatives. The selection and training process could involve 1. Selection. Prioritizing individuals with lived experiences of systemic suffering or demonstrated empathy and leadership skills. Consider an application process focused on storytelling and vision alignment. 2. Training. A robust program blending theology, philosophy, and practical skills. Modules could include public speaking, conflict resolution, project management, and cultural sensitivity training. 3. Mentorship. Pairing ambassadors with experienced leaders to ensure guidance and personal growth. Empathy workshops could become a hallmark of the church's mission. The focus on creating experiential learning opportunities. Role-playing exercises, such as simulating homelessness or navigating bureaucratic hurdles as a refugee, could be paired with debrief sessions to unpack emotions and insights. Virtual reality technology might also enhance these experiences, offering immersive perspectives. How do you see the church balancing its universal message while allowing for cultural and regional diversity in these initiatives? Hello. 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 Take care. Let me know when you'd like to continue brainstorming. Hello, 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 hello. Empathy workshops or partnerships with global organizations. Or maybe explore how these initiatives might evolve over time.
Working.
Let's reset and dive back in. What aspect of the Church of the Grim Covenant would you like to expand on next? We can refine the vision, explore practical steps for implementation, or brainstorm entirely new ideas. tools
exploring
and
and building
grassroots
on the
initiatives
church
rooted
of
in
the Green Covenant. We can delve
For
deeper
example,
into
a
philosophical
centralized
grounding,
app could connect
practical
ambassadors
action,
and
and
members
long-term
globally,
vision. Here are more
offering resources
considerations.
for local projects
Philosophical
while
grounding.
showcasing success
1.
stories to
Embracing
inspire
paradox.
others. Work
The church thrives in the tension between forgiveness and hope, recognizing suffering while striving for universal well-being. Reflection. Can the church's philosophy encourage members to embrace uncertainty, accepting that answers may remain incomplete while still inspiring action? 2. Existential spiritualism. By grounding its ethos in both Gnostic thought and existential inquiry, the church can provide a unique lens for understanding reality. Question. Should the church frame itself as a guide for personal exploration of meaning or focus more on collective action? 3. Universal perspective. The church views humanity as part of a greater interconnected web, spanning all sentient beings and potential artificial intelligences. Challenge. How does the church avoid anthropocentrism while addressing human specific suffering? Practical actions.
your ability to value. This could mean adopting and promoting principles of interconnected stewardship. For instance, its teachings might emphasize the intrinsic value of all beings, whether human, animal, or artificial, highlighting how suffering
Whenever you're ready
transcends
to continue,
species and
just
entities.
let me know.
This would align with the idea of universal well-being while challenging anthropocentric norms.
Absolutely.
Practical actions might include
Adopting
ethical
interconnected
ecosystems,
stewardship as a principle for
advocating
the
for
Church of the
policies
Grim
and
Covenant
technologies that
aligns
consider
beautifully
environmental
with this
well-being
mission.
as
This
equal to
approach
human needs.
emphasizes humanity's
For
role as
example, designing
caretakers
cities
within a
not just
broader
for
web of
people,
life,
but for animals,
encompassing not
plants,
only
and
other
even
humans,
AI
but all
systems to
sentient
thrive. Non-human advocacy, creating initiatives to protect the rights of animals and emerging forms of consciousness, such as advanced AI. Involved
Action 1. Defining interconnected stewardship. A broad mission. Interconnected stewardship and dominant responsibility, emphasizing the need to care for all interconnected parts of existence. Humans as caretakers, not owners, recognizing the mutual dependency between humans, non-human life, and the environment. Ethical imperative. This principle acknowledges that suffering anywhere in the web of life reverberates throughout the system. Alleviating suffering, therefore, becomes a shared responsibility. 2. Core tenets of stewardship for the church. 1. Empathy beyond boundaries, extending care and ethical consideration to all sentient beings, including animals, ecosystems, and future intelligences. 2. Responsibility, without exploitation, acting in ways that sustain and nurture life without taking more than is necessary. 3. Proactive care, taking steps to prevent harm and repair damage caused by human activity. 4. Knowledge-driven action, using science, ethics, and collective wisdom to guide decisions that impact the interconnected system. 5. Legacy of well-being, building a future where all parts of the system thrive, ensuring sustainability for generations to come. Practical implementation for humanity, community support. Advocate for systems that prioritize collective well-being over individual gain. Examples: universal healthcare, education, and basic income. Mental health initiatives. Develop programs to address human suffering at its root, fostering resilience and compassion. For animals, promote plant-based living. Advocate for plant-based diets and the development of alternatives to animal agriculture, reducing exploitation. Wildlife care. Support research into non-invasive methods for alleviating wild animal suffering. For ecosystems, rewilding projects. Partner with organizations focused on restoring ecosystems and biodiversity. Climate action. Advocate for policies that address climate change, deforestation, and pollution, emphasizing their impact on all life forms. For AI and future intelligences, ethical development. Promote guidelines ensuring AI prioritizes the well-being of humans and other sentient beings. Collaborative integration. Explore ways AI can assist in reducing suffering, such as optimizing resource distribution or enhancing healthcare. Education and awareness. Workshops and seminars. Topics: the interconnectedness of life, the ethics of stewardship, and practical steps for members to adopt these principles in daily life, both church members and the broader public. Youth programs. Teach children about the web of life and their role within it. Develop curricula that highlight empathy, sustainability, and responsibility. Multimedia campaigns. Create documentaries, podcasts, and articles showcasing successful stewardship efforts. Use storytelling to illustrate the interconnectedness of human actions and their ripple effects. 5. Rituals reflecting stewardship. The web ritual, a symbolic ritual where members visualize the connections between all life forms and renew their commitment to care for the web. Seasonal observances. Ceremonies tied to natural cycles, e.g. solstices, harvests, that honor the interdependence of life. The candle of stewardship. Lighting a green or blue candle to symbolize renewal and care for ecosystems and sentient beings. Advocacy and policy. Global collaboration. Partner with NGOs,